Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Sound of Movement podcast. This week we have an epic series kicking off, How to Become a Better Athlete. It's all about athletic performance. Today we're going to be diving deep into why programming is so important for athletic performance and most specifically progressive overload. What's up, tribe? It is great to be here on a Monday morning. It's a rainy Monday morning here in Sydney, Australia. I am graced with the presence of the voice of God, Richard Lellies. How are you, Rich?
I'm good, thanks, Yanni. I don't know how I ever got the voice of God title, but I kind of like it. I'm kind of growing used to it.
It's because you can't see you in the stream, but you can hear your voice coming over everybody else. It's fantastic. I love it. I'm going to keep rolling with it. Anyway, listen, before we dive in, guys, if you are watching on the replay on YouTube, smash that like button. It supports our channel. Show us some love. Let us know what you think about today's discussion in the comments section. You can answer the question of the day yourselves. And a big shout out to everyone on the podcast. Massive shout out to everyone joining us live in the Movement Mastermind private Facebook group. If you haven't already and you're on the podcast or you're watching the stream on YouTube, get yourself over there. Search for UMS Movement Mastermind on Facebook. You can request to join. We will approve you as soon as you agree to abide by the code of conduct. And then you can interact live and ask questions and just be more awesome, basically. So today's discussion, we're kicking off a series on how to become a better athlete. And this is moving into what we call phase 3 of our season of podcasts. It is for the advanced people among us, the people who've been training for a few years, have been putting in the work, have been seeing some good results, and are ready to take their performance to the next level. And this week, you know, it's going to be fun because I got Rad back on the show tomorrow, albeit he may not have a voice. He's lost his voice, but we're going to have a crack at it, and we're going to throw some stones this week because this is where we get to poke holes in other programs. And I'm in a hole poking mood today, I tell you what. So I'm going to try to keep this as amicable as possible, but we have a big problem with a lot of programming or the lack thereof programming, and the reason is because somewhere along the lines, a lot of personal trainers who don't level up their knowledge of like fundamental knowledge of strength and conditioning, sports and exercise science, whatever it is, and they become entertainers, not personal trainers, and they feel the need to entertain people first and deliver results second, or if at all. And unfortunately, that's become quite prevalent in the group exercise and boot camp arena as well. And I think it was largely due to the explosion of popularity in boot camps, where boot camps you kind of have to think outside the square a little bit because you don't often have access to the full kit, the full gym kit, and you have to start thinking about other ways to stimulate muscle development, strength development, fitness development, things like that. But then and you know, we prove that you can still do those things in our at-home workouts without any equipment at all. You can still deploy proper strength and conditioning and get incredible results. So there's no need to just throw all reason and logic out the window. But unfortunately, people did, and people started to just use really complex movement patterns because they're challenging. They get people moving. They do burn calories, which is a positive, but unfortunately they're very hard to progress. And but people find it challenging, and then confuse that initial challenge as that they're getting results. And then that bled over into the group exercise sphere, and it became really, really obvious in a number of very popular group exercise brands and gyms. And the reality is that it creates a glass ceiling. And today I'm going to explain to you why. Initially getting moving in any manner is a really good thing, and that's great, especially for a beginner who's not very well trained yet. because it's going to displace calories, it's going to produce endorphins, it's going to do a lot of the surface benefits to exercise. But unfortunately, after a short period of time, for some people it's a month, for others it might be 12 weeks, you hit a glass ceiling because there's just there's no progressive overload. It's very hard to progress complex movement patterns that challenge coordination. And you know, that's one of the big topics that we're going to be driving home this week, that coordination is a major limiting factor in your one's ability to progress in strength, to progress in flexibility, and to progress in skill. And therefore, you know, the very nature of using really complex movement patterns to entertain people in a workout, to make them feel like they're being challenged, when you know, it's the nature of progressive overloading the muscles, overloading the nervous system, creating more intensity, more volume, and then the last variable being progressive overload, which we're going to discuss in depth on Wednesday's show, is it's a real mistake. It's a real mistake, and this is something that, you know, a good program makes, like, number one, first and foremost, a really, really successful program that's going to improve athletic performance, you know, works to eliminate the coordination barrier as quickly as possible, you know, by drilling down technique, form and technique. And in order to do that, you need to repeat the same movement a number of times so that you actually become proficient in that movement, you know. And the sweet spot seems to be, you know, maybe 4 to 6 workouts on that movement. But a lot of the gyms, you know, they market, you never do the same workout twice. It's all about entertainment. It's all about doing something totally different for you. So that you feel entertained, you feel like you're doing, you know, even the wildly popular and successful P90X program, they marketed on this concept of muscle confusion, which was a fabricated notion that if you confuse the muscle over and over again, it adapts faster and you get a better result. And you know, that is very, very loose use of a methodology in strength and conditioning where you are forcing an adaptation through new stimulus. But then you have a period of time where you learn that new stimulus, and then you have an opportunity to develop strength and skill in that new stimulus. And then after a period of time, that what we call super compensation effect starts to diminish, and then it's time to reintroduce new stimulus. You don't do it every day. Doing it every day completely fails to capitalize on a myriad of really important strength and conditioning principles that which are what people are generally training for, right? Yeah. People are generally training for an improvement in athletic performance, which usually comes in the form of either fitness, strength, or flexibility, or a combination of all of the three if you work out at Unity Gym, you know. And then from there, you can deploy that into specific skills or exercise specification, whether that be in a hobby, a sport, or a profession.
It's pretty funny though, isn't it? Like, for how many decades of research gone into you know, hypertrophy trainings, strength and conditioning. For some reason, now personal trainers are just chucking all that out the window just to entertain. Oh, this is what my client wants. This is what they, you know, feel like they need. I'm going to give that to them, rather than sticking to what they know is best, and that's, you know, progressive overload. Sticking with the same thing but changing the variables to get the adaptation. Yeah,
exactly. And I think it comes through, it's bred through a lack of understanding and a lack of knowledge. But then you get this. I mean, you and I worked in a big, like the biggest sort of chain gym in Australia, Fitness First, for a period of time. So did Rad, and you get this thing going on where a trainer can become successful in a number of ways. One is just through time, through sheer grit, determination, and time. They build up a client base because they're there for a long period of time. They're not necessarily a really well-educated trainer. And then another one comes through, you know, the obvious, which is education. You become very, very good at delivering results, and then you get a reputation for delivering results, which is the way we hope to become successful. And then word spreads, and people want to train with you because you are known for being the trainer at the gym that delivers results. Unfortunately, a lot of other people become successful by mimicking what they see other people doing, not understanding it at all, but basically going, oh, wow, that guy's doing something new and exciting over there. And they follow fads, you know, they do these little fad courses that introduce a concept that someone's made up with no scientific backing or research behind it whatsoever, and then deploy that and in an attempt to continually entertain their client, and their client thinks, wow, this guy's really upskilling, he's up to date with all the current, you know, research. They put their trust in you, thinking that there is sufficient research backing whatever the new fad is that they're being thrown at. Like stability training, anti-stability training was a huge fad when we were at Fitness First, and all of a sudden you had people squatting on fit balls or attempting to and falling off and hurting themselves. And I've seen some bizarre videos of people loading up with a barbell, a back squat on a fit ball, or a what do you call? I don't know what you call it in America, an exercise ball. You know, the Bosu balls that stood for both side up, because you had a flat plastic surface on one side and a rubber half dome that inflated on the other side, and it was an anti-stability tool, and they were so popular for a while, you know, and they come out with these exercise fads that are deployed into the gym, and then, you know, people take that out onto the gym floor, and then every trainer sees it and sees the client looking like they're having fun and being entertained, and then they go, oh, I'm just going to do that because that looks like it's working. You know, they got no clue whether it's actually going to deliver a result or not, and in most cases it doesn't, because coordination becomes the limiting factor, and that's all that the client improves on. And you get good at doing that bizarre movement, but it doesn't carry over to anything else. And that's what when it comes down to it, and this is the thing, and I think this should be the key take home today for everyone listening to the podcast. When we train in the gym, we don't train to be good at training in the gym. And this is this principle that we've been teaching our tribe for years now, which is that training and performance are two different things. When we go to the gym, we train so that we perform well outside of the gym. And that may just be in life. That may just be building confidence. When we're strong and supple and pain-free, we're more confident. We're more likely to excel in other areas of our life, you know. When we're unhealthy, it costs us money. It affects our career. It affects the way we think. It affects our energy levels. It affects our performance in everything that we do. So your training in the gym may just be to crush in life, and that's totally okay. But we want to understand that when we come to the gym, we train to be better at other things. We don't necessarily come to the gym to be better at the gym, you know. But the problem with these functional exercises and the coordination factor being the key component of what improves is that it doesn't develop strength, it doesn't develop flexibility, or it only gets you started, and then the super compensation effect of that is very, very small, and it diminishes very quickly, and it's very hard to progress from there. And this is why it's so important to go back to basics. And you know, it's really funny. On the way, I go for an hour-long run at 5:30 in the morning at the moment. I'm actually walking it mostly at the moment to go through a conditioning phase, because my body is just adapting to the mileage. But on the way back from my morning walk, I did about 7 or 8 Ks this morning in an hour. I passed under the Harbour Bridge under a tunnel, and there was a boot camp instructor there who had laid out a circuit, and it's raining today, so I only assume that normally he'd be out in the there's a park just outside the tunnel. But he had a van there, and he had a chin-up bar set up, he had a squat rack set up, he had a deadlift station set up, and then it looked like he had like a kettlebell press station set up and an abdominal station set up. And I sat there watching for a while, and he had about 5 women doing a circuit. And I was like, kudos to you, brother. Like, he's literally bucking the boot camp trend and delivering a strength and conditioning session
Yep.
in an outdoor environment. You know,
Yep.
he doesn't obviously have a gym that he can train people in, but he's brought the gym to the people. And I thought that is awesome. Like, because he's not falling victim to this, a fad or, getting people to dance around in the park. And I'll remind you that doing these sorts of styles of exercise where it is sort of fad driven and it's functional training, you're moving around in ways where coordination is a major limiting factor. So you have to become coordinated at the movement, and then you can do it, and it burns calories, it gets your body moving. There are initial benefits to that because it's getting you moving, and it's going to displace some calories, and
it is definitely better than nothing.
100%. But the problem is, and this is why we're talking about athletic performance here. We're talking about how to become either a better athlete or and that goes for everybody. You're going to hit a glass ceiling at some point, whether it's 30 days or 60 days or 90 days. If you're well trained or you've got a history of exercise, it'll be the earlier. You're not going to develop anything anymore very quickly, and it's going to become frustrating. And you'll peak out your ability to develop fitness from that thing, and you'll peak out your coordination, and you'll be able to do the movements really, really well. And all of a sudden, there's no strength development occurring, there's no flexibility development occurring, and there's no fitness development occurring. So why the hell are you doing it? Is it just so that you feel like you're doing something? You're offsetting some calories. Like, why not deploy that into a workout where proper progressive overload is deployed, proper super compensation is deployed, proper programming periodization is deployed, and you not only offset calories now, you are developing in every facet of human performance, flexibility, strength, fitness, and coordination at the same time. You get deep neural cognitive development. You get neuroplasticity because you're learning you're learning really, really good movements. And we from time to time use complex movement patterns. We definitely use sort of more complex movement patterns in our warm-ups. It's things like test the water. Anyone who's done our warm-up programs and they've experienced Rad's martial arts touches that he's learned from Kung Fu, like movements like test the water, there is a complex element to it, where there's a coordination factor, but it's like done for 2 minutes and then we move on into, and there's very, very strategic reasons why we use it there for blood occlusion and blood flow occlusion and warm up and body positioning drills and nervous system adaptation and things like that, And so, I really want to get you guys thinking. If you're doing a workout that is largely based around what some people like to throw around the word functional, the functional movement patterns, then and you feel like you're not progressing, you've capped it out, you're fit, you're coordinated in those movements now. Think about whether it's time to put your time and effort and sweat equity into something that's going to develop you properly. Strength, flexibility, fitness, coordination, cognitive function, and because you will get the superficial benefits. You're going to get the calorie displacement. You're going to get the coordination factor. You're going to get the entertainment. Trust me, when you see your numbers, there is nothing more liberating than a man or woman watching their squat go up or deadlift go up. You see even the girls who came in fearful of weightlifting come in and watch their flexibility, strength, fitness tangibly increase on a week-to-week basis in the gym. It is a very empowering thing to feel and experience.
I like to think about the difference being like there's one being a workout and then there's one being a training program. Like, ask yourself, do you want just a workout that makes you sweat, or do you want a training program that makes you better?
That's right. Because strength is a skill, flexibility is a skill, fitness is a skill that needs to be practiced and developed, and we practice that in training. We don't just go and do a sweat. There's so many more benefits to exercise than just burning calories. And I think that's sort of where we're at, and there is so much opportunity out there with great programming. Old matey under the Harbour Bridge today in the tunnel doing his S&C circuit. That's brilliant.
Who's that?
I have no clue who the guy is. I just walked past the session and I was just really intrigued because he dragged out a proper chin-up and dip station. He had a van and he just
this is the same guy.
Yeah, same guy,
wow.
and he had a proper squat rack, like a portable squat rack set
gym.
up. Yeah, he had like 5 barbells, it was literally a mobile gym, and I just thought, how cool is that, because not everyone has the access that we do to a great gym, and it just triggered something in me, that made me think, oh, good, there's hope for humanity.
Yeah, I'd like to see more of them going around, honestly.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Well, the problem is
that
councils don't let you.
Yeah.
See, we got kicked. Rad and I did boot camp for a while, and we literally took over the local outdoor basketball court up at the park.
Yeah.
Because it was a flat slab of concrete, and we took up like everything: kettlebells, barbells, Olympic weight plates, and battle ropes, and we set up like a proper S&C circuit, and it wasn't long before we were dobbed in by other trainers in the park who were doing this stupid, functional dance move circuits, and there's nothing wrong with dance. Dance is a great practice, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't develop strength, flexibility, and fitness the same as a proper periodized program will, with proper planning, progressive overload. Yeah. And here is the key insight: functional movement patterns that primarily only develop coordination, or where coordination is the limiting factor, are very hard to progress, and there are limitations to the ability to progress them. You might be able to progress them a tiny little bit, but not much at all. Therefore, they provide a glass ceiling, a very, very limited opportunity for your body to adapt.
Yep.
And so it makes very little sense to be using them continually in a program where you're trying to deliver a result to someone.
Yep.
Okay, and unfortunately, the programs that do very well on this prey on the fact that there is a constant revolving door with people who are trying to get fit, or trying to lose weight, or trying to transform their bodies, and generally they don't last much longer than 60 to 90 days before they fade off and quit, and so they are able to stay in business because of that, because their programs can deliver an initial response, but they seldom get the person beyond that 60-day period.
Yeah.
We're making a great business, a lucrative business at Unity Gym, out of capitalizing on those people who get to that 60-day point and just go, holy crap, this isn't going anywhere. And then they come to Unity and go, my God, why didn't I do this earlier? I'm actually now tangibly seeing results,
Yep.
It's quite interesting. We didn't come out with a question of the day, which was meant to be, have you ever done a program that uses functional movement patterns that are really entertaining and fun initially, but then feel like you plateau really, really quickly? And what happened? How did you break through that plateau? What did you do? Did you change the program? Did you change the coach? Did you change the gym? Or did you just educate yourself and see that it wasn't the right way to train beyond that initial just get started point? Guys, that's pretty much it for today. We are going to go deep into this. We're going to talk this week about why workouts that fail to progressively overload the body lead to plateaus, which we've discussed a little bit today. It's going to be fun having Rad on the show because he loves poking holes in shitty programming. Why structure and supercompensation is key to a successful program, and how we design UMS macro, meso, and micro cycles to get better results. We are going to finish the week by lifting the curtain and showing you exactly how we do it in all of our programs. Our UMS program that we deliver in the gym, which is slightly different to our UMS online coaching program, where people generally have a little bit more time to spend on the coaching, and also how we did it in our at-home workouts. It's a consistent thing that we deploy in every program that we write because it works. These principles of strength and conditioning and sports exercise science have stood the test of time for decades and decades and decades because they bloody work, and they should be used. Anyway, thank you, Richard, for chiming in. And Lee Clements is saying prance and dance, I call them, a bit unkind. There was literally a YouTube channel, I don't know if you've seen this, Lee, called The Prancer or Prancercise.
Prancercise,
It is hilarious. If you haven't seen it, guys, go and watch, go and search on YouTube Prancercise, and it's this woman who has taken walking to a completely new level, and good on her for trying to be innovative and enjoying herself. But it's a good example of, you know, something that sort of is just designed to burn some calories. Most of us want more. If you want more, come check out what we do here at Unity Gym, and at least join the UMS Movement Mastermind. And remember, guys, if you haven't already, smash up that like button. Let us know what you think, just like Lee, about the concept of Prancercise. And we'll see you tomorrow. I think Rad will be back on the podcast tomorrow as well. Thanks very much.
And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe.
Good point, Richard. Good point. And give us a 5-star review if you're listening to the podcast. It will help. We'll love you long time. Hey, we cracked 200 episodes last week.
We did.
On Friday.
Yeah.
200 episodes of the podcast on Friday last week, guys. Smash up the like button for 200 and give us a 5-star review for 200 if you've been listening this far. We're getting much more strategic and much more systemized about the content model that we're following. We actually have a series that we're going to roll through. This is the phase 3 of the series. The series is going to be 9 weeks, and we're going to get better and better and better at delivering. And there's really only so many topics that we talk about until COVID's over and we can get guests on the show again, which we will have. That's why we have 4 chairs here. We have it built so that we can have great guests come in, and we're going to be doing lots of that as soon as this damn health pandemic is sorted out and passed and over, and I do believe that time will come. We'll see you all tomorrow. Health is about performance, not just body image.
You better be willing to accept what you're going to have to do to get there.
We'll start focusing on movement goals, strength goals, flexibility goals.
When you nail that skill, it's there forever.
The body image goal doesn't get you that far.
It's the consistency and frequency that's going to get you there. It's not the intensity.
There's no shortcuts to mastery and movement. Destination doesn't change overnight, but your direction will.
The gym is not the place to beat up the body that you hate. It's the place to build the body that you love.
We are the gym that teaches people how to move instead of just exercise, because we believe that health is about performance, not just body image.